Hello, everyone. This is Yeshua said my name. This is going to be a part two to the video that I made the other day exposing Freemasonry and its satanic Luciferian connections. I have so many videos that I could make off of the encyclopedias, the Freemasonry encyclopedias the Lord brought across my path through a friend whose grandfather was a high Grand Mason. These encyclopedias that I have are very old books. They were never supposed to leave the lodge that this woman's grandfather participated in. However, he managed to grab a couple and bring them home, probably most likely for his own reading. However, they remained in the family, and this woman approached me and offered them to me. I believe the Lord gave these books to me to confirm what he has been teaching me about Freemasonry and their connection to the occult and the craft and Luciferianism. He's been confirming to me through these books and resources from behind the scenes how Freemasonry is connected to the Pope of Rome and the Vatican. Outwardly, they will not admit this. They'll cloak themselves, looking like sheep, but inwardly, as Jesus says, they are wolves. Satan does not come looking to people evil outwardly. He comes looking like an angel of light. What does that mean? He comes looking like a messenger of truth. In these books, like I said, I could show you so many hours and hours worth of videos explaining things. I'm going to show you a couple of more things that I didn't show you the other day when I made a video. Actually, just the last video that I made about Freemasonry. They are connected with pagan gods. They not only have these gods pictured in these encyclopedias that I have here on Freemasonry, it's the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry that I have here. I have two books. And they from cover to cover in both books, they explain so many things about the craft, the occult, what they worship, what they believe as Freemasons. They mention the Eastern Star, which is the female version of Freemasonry. But I wanted to show you a couple of things that I did not show you before in the previous video. And like I said, I could make countless videos showing you the connection of Freemasonry to the occult. If you are a Freemason or if you are involved in the female version of Freemasonry, the Eastern Star, I am begging you with the love of Christ to have nothing to do with it. If you are newly involved in Freemasonry, they're not going to tell you when you first become involved with Freemasonry or the Eastern Star that this is the occult, that it is the craft that you are practicing, which is Luciferian. They are not going to inform you of that. So a lot of people involved in this that are lower degrees are not aware, and Satan uses deception to draw men and women into these practices. These videos and this channel primarily is not a hate channel. This channel is out to expose evil, expose Lucifer's devices to draw people into what he fools them into believing is the truth or is the light. And I am begging you with everything in me, as if Christ himself was speaking to you, have nothing to do with Freemasonry or the Eastern Star. If you value your eternity with Christ, please have nothing to do with it. I have known a Freemason. I have inside information the Lord has given me, not only through these encyclopedias that come from a lodge that were never supposed to leave the lodge. The Lord has given me other credible sources to confirm what he has been teaching me. Have nothing to do with it. I've even heard of people that have been involved in Freemasonry. They open the door to possession by demonic spirits. You really need to pay attention. I'm warning you out of love, not because I hate you, but because Christ wants you to come out of the system. He is the true light. He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes unto God except through me. This great architect of the universe is none other than Satan himself, Lucifer, who comes claiming to be the light bearer and illuminating you with the truth of setting humanity free from Jehovah. God says, woe to those who call evil good and good evil. Lucifer comes in through Freemasonry teaching that he's there to set you free and give you the light, that he's there to exalt mankind into his true divine status. As a matter of fact, if you go into the rotunda in Washington, D.C., there is a picture of George Washington with his Masonic apron on, and on that picture it says the apotheosis of George Washington. Well, what does that mean, apotheosis? It means elevating man to a divine state. Freemasonry, headed by Lucifer, the great architect, claims to give you the light to bring man into his or her divine status or Christ consciousness, the light. This is demonic. You open yourself up to the demonic. They will not tell you this when you first join the lodge. The Freemason I knew said that he had no idea that these things were going to be taught in the higher degrees. These encyclopedias that I have, if you did not see the video I made a couple of days ago exposing Freemasonry more deeply, please digress to that video that I made a couple of days ago. What I want to show you is a couple pictures that I have from one of the encyclopedias that I have from a Freemasonic lodge. And as I stated, this woman gave them to me. Her grandfather was a high-ranking Mason, and he was not supposed to take these encyclopedias out of the lodge. However, he did, and they remained in the family. So this woman approached me and gave me these encyclopedias. I want to show you some pictures here. I don't know if they're coming through clearly, but I will explain what these pictures are. The big one in the middle is actually Dagon, the fish god. We have Ashtoreth there. We have Baal. There's the goat right there. There's all kinds of, Zeus is up top. Ashtoreth, Dagon. We have all these different symbols here, and of these pagan gods that are allowed in Freemasonry. There is a Bible on an altar in a Freemasonic lodge, and what this ex-Freemason told me was that as long as you believed in a deity, it didn't matter what that deity was. If it was Pan, if it was Dagon, if it was Moloch, Baal, Ashtoreth, whatever it was, as long as you agreed that there was a higher power, you were included in the lodge. You could not be an atheist, so to speak. But these books deal with Vishnu. As a matter of fact, here's one here that I overlooked. Vishnu, Baal, here's Ashtoreth. We have Pan, Dagon, Zeus. So these are all pictures of, and this is coming out of the Freemasonic Encyclopedia that I have here. These are all pictures of these pagan deities. As a matter of fact, over here on this page here, you see how on this page, the serpent is mentioned. And they go into the serpent illuminating people, and the Ouroboros, which is a serpent eating its tail. And they discuss that represents eternity. So all of this is in, and I'll show you another picture in a moment. All of this is in this encyclopedia of Freemasonry that I was given. So I want you to know that I'm not just reading from another source here that isn't Freemasonic and trying to lay blame. This is from an encyclopedia of Freemasonry, and it's Kindred Sciences. It is really the craft. As a matter of fact, when I go under the letter C in here in the encyclopedia, it discusses the craft and how they practice the craft. I'll have another picture here I want to show you. Let me see if I can get to it here. Okay. Let me see here. Yeah, so it even shows here George Washington in this picture as the Worshipful Master, and he's got the Mason apron on here with the great architect symbol. And like I said, in Washington, D.C., you will see that it will say the apotheosis of George Washington. That the apotheosis, if you look it up, means making man into God, or taking man into, enlightening man to his or her state of divinity. And isn't this what Lucifer said to Adam and Eve in the garden? This is the same lie that was given to them. I was reading this morning again about the Eastern Star, and its women's connection to the Eastern Star and how that's directly related to Freemasonry. I want to show you another picture. This represents the male and female energy. It's called a talisman. And in this picture that I'm going to show you, they have the dragon encircling the world with Freemasonic symbols, along with the male and female energy and satanic stars. And you have angelic symbols here. You have Egyptian symbols here. So all of this is represented in this picture that I will show you. And I'll try and put it up close enough so you can see. Right here. I don't know if that's coming through clearly enough. You have the male and female energy, Freemasonic symbols. You've got the dragon encircling the world, who is Satan. The gentleman in this picture is holding or the male and female images are holding the Freemasonic Masonry symbols there. This is connected to the dragon. The dragon in Scripture is Lucifer, the fallen one, the one who comes deceiving people, telling them he has the light. I'll have to bring up a video for you on another video time, actually, where it shows a Freemason being interviewed. And he states that Lucifer is virtuous and righteous and holy and comes to enlighten people and help them. Now, you may not be told this in the beginning when you join Freemasonry, but these videos are out to warn you and plead with you as if the Lord himself was speaking to you through me, because it's not me. It's his love for you calling you out of this system. If you are a pastor in a church, you need to pay attention to who is coming into your church, not your church, but God's church. You need to pay attention who's coming in and sitting in places of leadership, teaching classes and such. Are they Freemasons? Are they being led astray? Paul tells us in the last days, men would creep into the church, and women, preaching damnable heresies. I've seen this for myself, gentlemen. I have seen Freemasons recruiting other men in my former church. And these poor men were like being led to the slaughter, not knowing what they were getting into. And when you confront leadership in churches now, you're dismissed. It's because they know it's true and they don't want to be confronted with the truth, and they don't want to lose their positions. Also, in 501c3 churches, pastors are greatly, even if they're not free, even if some are not Freemasonic, they are forbidden under 501c3 tax codes or the forms they sign to be a 501c3 church. They are limited by the state and the government what they are allowed to preach on or expose. And that's why a lot of times, even if you try and expose it to a pastor or leader, they'll try and dismiss it. It's interesting, and that's another subject for another video that I will get into. But on top of these encyclopedias that I have explaining the craft, explaining the great architect, Lucifer, Satan, these symbols of the craft and the occult that are in these books that I have here, and they are very old books. They're yellowing pages, ripping. This has gone on for thousands of years. I have letters from, Freemason to Freemason speaking about the lodge and what their meetings are about. And, very old letters, the pages are yellowing, speaking about what they'll be talking about and what goes on in the lodge. And it is not an innocent big boys club. And if you're involved in the female version, which is the Eastern Star, I'm begging you to come out of it. You cannot live with Christ and live with Luciferianism. You cannot claim Jesus and delve into the craft or the occult. The two do not mix. Jesus was not a Freemason. As a matter of fact, in the Gospels, he came against the builders. He accused them of trying to oust him so they could make the world what they wanted it to be under Lucifer's leadership. Look this up in the scriptures. Jesus denounced the builders and said that he will eventually be that stone that will crush them. You cannot claim the name of Christ and be involved in Freemasonry. You cannot claim the name of Christ and be involved in the Eastern Star, which practices and connects to the occult and the craft and is Luciferian. You cannot claim both. As scripture says, you cannot sit at the table of the Lord and drink the cup of demons and the cup of the Lord at the same time. So I am making this video, along with the one I made before, to expose Freemasonry further, to show you some of these things that are in these encyclopedias. And these encyclopedias are Freemasonic. I showed you that. These things list in here what Freemasonry is connected to. Otherwise, it wouldn't be in here. So I'm pleading with you, if you're a Christian man and you've had another gentleman in your church, or ma'am, if you've had another lady in your church invite you to go to the Eastern Star, turn away. Turn away and say, if I have Christ, I already have all I need. If Christ is my light that I say he is, why do I need to be taken by someone to a lodge in order to find the light if Christ is already my light? What else do you need but Jesus Christ? What are they trying to sell you? So I'm begging you that if you're a part of this, please come out. God bless you. Thank you for listening today. If you have any questions, if you would like to discuss this further, I would be happy to do so. Please prayerfully consider this and pass this video along to others that you know may be involved in Freemasonry or the Eastern Star. The Lord will bless you for planting a seed. God bless you today.